Hey guys, thanks for joining. It's MZ0910. Today we have a very interesting topic, brand new PlayStation 5 Slim, which is not that new and not that slim. Let's take a look. So, just recently announced, PlayStation 5 has basically made a brand new, slimmer size PlayStation 5. Who was the one that was pushing this and requesting this? I highly doubt anyone was, especially because of the specifications. The specs prove that a lot of people were not asking for this. No one ever brought this to PlayStation's attention except people who are really good at wasting time, wasting resources, and stealing money. The new video that was released, and there you have it. PlayStation has no limits when it comes to how much they can take away from you without giving you anything in return. Let's take a look at the specification because it does matter. What you're purchasing, in my opinion, it should matter what it is you're taking away from this. I did a little bit of research. This reminds me of Apple 100%. Apple is known to jib everyone for their money and give you as little as possible throughout the year. If you do the comparison of the PlayStation 5 Disc Edition, PlayStation 5 Digital, and the PlayStation 5 Slim Disc Edition, and the PlayStation 5 Slim Digital, there's not much of a difference. So as of right now, you can purchase the PlayStation 5 Disc Edition for a whopping $499. PlayStation 5 Digital, which was recently increased in price, if you don't remember, it is now $399 after taxes. That's well above the $500, but that's just their market. Now, starting November of this year, which is next month, you will be able to purchase the PlayStation 5 Slim for $499 Disc Edition, which is the same as the regular one that is not so slim. And then for the PlayStation 5 Slim Digital Edition, that one increased. That one is now $449. To give you a perspective of how very little has changed, or according to them, how much has changed, PlayStation 5 Disc Edition is 390 millimeters in width. The PlayStation 5 Slim Disc Edition is 358 millimeters in width. The PlayStation 5 Digital Edition in height is 260 millimeters. PlayStation 5 Disc Edition, there's so much to read off of what is not that much of a difference that it does confuse you, because you want to try to pick out the difference, but you don't really see that much of a difference. And that's, so in other words, the width for both the newer and the older one are not that different. The height, somewhat of a difference, but who requested that anyways? I highly doubt anyone. Right? And just to get even more into the spec, I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that both the regular PS5 and the PS5 Slim both runs off of the AMD Ryzen Zen 2, which is 8 cores and 16 threads. They both run on GDDR6 at 16 gigs. Same thing. Now, here's the thing that they're trying to trick you, which is something that Apple is really good at. As far as the storage, back in the days, at least, they were a little bit honest, even though it did not help, and they did admit that with the old PlayStation 5, you get only up to 825 gigs of storage, aside from the installation of the software. And over here, they want to make it seem like there is a huge jump from the 826 gigs to the 1 terabyte, but they didn't include the specs on how much it's going to take to install the software. So keep in mind that what they're promoting, which is the 1 terabyte, is not the actual storage. I have an iPhone. They promoted 256 gigs. Am I getting the full 256 gigs? No, never will, unless they up that bar, right? And either way, both the regular PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Slim, they both have support for 4K display and even 8K. Now, here's where it makes the difference, which is this whole thing that they're promoting, right? It's like the one that's going to catch your attention, and that's going to make people run over to the website. And the fact that you can detach the Blu-ray player or the disc reader, the fact that it doesn't make sense to buy the PlayStation 5 Slim Digital Edition for $449 $69 and later purchase the disc drive for a whopping $80, which is a lot more than if you were to just get the disc edition. But even then, if you go back to the PlayStation 5 Slim disc edition, it's the same price as the PlayStation 5 old version, which is a 2020 version, for the same price. So why not change the prices on both the older one and the newer one, unless that is what they're planning on doing, unless they are planning to reduce the cost for the old PlayStation 5, which is not that old if you think about it. It's only 3 years behind in production. But as far as right now, what we can tell on their website, the regular PlayStation 5 is $500, but the new one will be $500 as well. And so it's one of those things where, so what really grinds my gears, companies like Apple, what they like to do is this. They like to laugh in everyone's faces, give you as very little as possible, hire someone who's really good at answering questions that lead to nowhere to make you believe that there was a good reason to why they're doing what they're doing. For example, if you were to go to the Apple store and you were to buy or at least compare 3 iPhones, the iPhone 15, the iPhone 15 Pro, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you start looking at the specs and there's not that much of a jump. There really is, but the price difference is about $200. There's a price difference of $200 between the 15, the regular 15, the 15 Pro, and the 15 Pro Max. But if you look at it, it's the same thing that PlayStation is doing. They're giving you up to 4 different types of PlayStation 5s to order, both the 2020 edition and the 2023 edition. I don't know how they're going to price it. Deep dive into the specs, it's the same crap, except that they're adding extra steps. One of those extra steps, buying the stand separate. Why? Whose money hungry idea was to not include this in the purchase of the newer version, and why isn't he fired? The fact that that is a separate purchase, it's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Fuck that guy. And the problem with this also is that if PlayStation adapts to this nonsense, so will Xbox and so will Nintendo and any other consoles. They're going to add extra stuff to make it a lot harder to access simple things as far as like stands. What's next? Oh, speaking of that, you guys remember back when you used to buy a console and you used to get 2 controllers? Well, there's an asshole back there who decided to remove that option and to sell you 1 controller so that you can go out and spend up to like $50, close to $80 at one point, to buy a separate controller just to enjoy the console that you already paid a lot of money for. And so it's those ideas and those marketing schemes, because they are schemes, that are holding the community back, and they're fucking up everything. And I'll be honest with that. The fact that they're laughing at everyone's faces and getting away with it, which is even worse, is pretty upsetting. I want to give a shout out to Review Tech USA. He is the one who introduced me to that. I did a little bit more research on my own, but I do get a lot of news from him. And as I started digging into this ridiculous approach to the new, which is not new at all, PlayStation 5, it's pretty upsetting how they're getting away with it just in time for the holidays, because they already know that the consumers want to upgrade everything for no reason. And they've actually conditioned us to do so. So in my opinion, don't go out buy it if you already have a PlayStation 5. I don't know. It's just one of those things there that really, really pisses me off when there's a new trend that is completely anti-consumer and they're getting away with it. And it's even worse because there is a high possibility for other companies to adapt to that nonsense. Either way, that's my news here on that topic. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.